Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about solids, a volume of solids. So a cube has a volume formula of V equals S cubed, or to the third power. Now, if you are working with this particular cube, then you know all the sides are the same in a cube. So the side is 6 in this case. So volume equals 6 cubed. So now when you do that on your calculator, 6 times 6 is 36 times 6. And you end up with 216. Now in this, your meters are cubed. So all the units, when you have volume, the volume is a cubic unit to the third power. All right, let's look at the next example. Now, you need to choose which one's length, width, and height. But in the long run, it's not going to make a difference. Let's call this one, I don't know, height, width, and length. It doesn't matter. You can choose it differently. Because in this case, volume is the 3 dimensions, 6 times 4 times 12. Length times width times height. So if I were to multiply 6 times 4 times 12, let's see, should be 288. Yeah, volume is 288 inches cubed. And that's how you work with volume of a rectangular prism. I think you'll find that for the most part, volume formulas are easier than surface area formulas. All right, volume of a square pyramid. Now, the height is from the center of the base to the peak. It's not from the edge up, it's from the center up. So you think the height of an object. The base side is 6 yards in this case, and the height is 9 yards. So when we fill this in, volume is 1/3 times 6 squared times 9. Now if I were doing this myself, especially since I'm going to do this off the top of my head, I'm going to multiply the 1/3 times the 9, and I'm going to raise the 6 to the second power in the same work. So 1/3 of 9 is 3. 1/3, multiplying by 1/3 is like dividing by 3. It's the same thing. And 6 squared is 36. So when I multiply here, my volume is going to be 108 yards cubed. 3 times 36, 108. And there's how you find volume of a square-based pyramid. Volume of a cone. Now we're going to do this both in nearest hundredth and in pi, terms of pi. Because some of the problems ask for the nearest hundredth, others ask for it to the, in terms of pi. So let's actually do this. The radius is 6, the height is 12, so volume is 1/3, 3.14 times pi, times the radius, 6 squared, times the height of 12. Now we know 6 to the second power is 36, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I multiplied 1/3 times 12, or divided 12 by 3. I squared the 6. Now I'm going to multiply these 3 together. 4 times 3.14 times 36. My final answer here is 452.16. That's to the nearest hundredth, excuse me, and that is in inches cubed. Third power here, not squared, so used to squares, inches cubed. All right, now let's look at how this would be done if you were to do this with pi instead. So the volume is 1/3 pi, leave that as pi, times 6 squared times 12. So instead of substituting 3.14, we just leave it as the pi. Well, 1/3 of 12 is 4, and 6 squared is 36 times pi. Now 4 times 36 is 144. 144 pi inches cubed. And that's how you do it. Volume of a cylinder. Now this one's tipped on its side, so this is still the height. This is the height. Oh, wait a minute. This is the diameter, not the radius. The diameter goes all the way across. The radius would be 6 kilometers. So make sure you're careful with determining whether it's radius, any circular type thing that gives you either radius or diameter, check which it is. Volume is pi, 3.14, times the radius 6 squared times the height of 10. Now 10 times 3.14 is 31.4, and that's times 6 squared or 36. So let's see, 31.4 times 36. The volume is 1,130.4 kilometers cubed. Now if I were to do this with pi, it's a little easier. Pi times 6 squared times 10. Well, we know that 6 squared is 36 times 10, and 36 times 10 is 360 pi kilometers cubed. And there's your final answer in terms of pi. Let's go one last example, and that is volume of a sphere. Now, we have both hundredths and pi as our things that we're focusing on. We have a radius of 8. So volume equals 4/3 times 3.14 times 8 cubed. Now this one does not lend itself to being divided by 3 nicely, because 8 is not a multiple of 3. When you do this, I'm going to do the 8 squared, cubed rather. And 8 cubed is 512. Now, I'm going to multiply all of this together and then divide by 3. If your calculator has the fraction ability, then you can multiply these two times the fraction 4/3. But I'm going to multiply 4 times 3.14 times 512. That gets me 6,430.72, and I'm going to divide that by 3. So my final volume here will be 2,143.57. Now that has 3's after the 7 forever, but we're rounding to the nearest hundredths. That's 2 decimal places, meters cubed. Now, if we were working with pi, in terms of pi, again, a little easier. 4/3 pi r cubed, 8 cubed. And we know 512 is that value. 4/3 pi times 512. And when I do 512 times 4, 2,048 divided by 3, that gives me a volume of 682.67 pi meters cubed. Again, I rounded to 2 decimal places, then put my pi, because it had to be in terms of phi. Now, just a quick little thing. Volume, if we did, sometimes you're going to see this written as base times height. Well, that is the area of the circular base, and that's times the height. And that's what they mean by base times height. Whatever the base is times the area of the base times the height. That's what the capital B is. All right, that's it for today. Have a great day.